In a little town painted with the pastel hues of sunset and the quiet hum of dusk, there nestled a charming zoo unlike any other. This zoo, with its iron gates entwined with ivy and roses, was a sanctuary of dreams, a place where the wild whispers of the earth spoke in hushed tones. At the heart of this magical menagerie lived a little girl named Zoey. Zoey had chestnut hair that tumbled in soft curls, framing her curious eyes that sparkled with 1,000 questions. Her days were filled with wonder, her mind a vessel thirsting for the stories of the world. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of fiery oranges and purples, Zoey's adventure would begin. Clad in her favorite pajamas, dotted with stars and moons, she'd clutch her little lantern, a gift from her grandmother, who had whispered of its powers to illuminate the unseen. Tonight was special, though. As Zoey tiptoed across the creaky wooden floor of her room, she could feel the flutter of excitement in her belly. She'd been waiting for this night, the night of the whispering moon, a time when, it was said, the animals of the zoo spoke the language of humans. With a gentle push, Zoey opened the window, letting the cool breeze kiss her cheeks. Her heart danced to the symphony of the crickets and the rustling leaves. Taking a deep breath, she stepped out into the embrace of the night, her little lantern casting a golden glow on the path ahead. The zoo was just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Zoey's home, right at the place where the town ended and the wild whispers began. As she approached the gates, they creaked open as if welcoming an old friend. Inside, the zoo was a tapestry of shadows and silhouettes. The trees stood tall, like silent guardians, and the air was heavy with the scent of jasmine and damp earth. Zoey's first stop was always the aviary, where the nightingales sang lullabies that wove through the air like delicate lace. But tonight, as she neared, the nightingales ceased their singing and peered curiously at Zoey. "Good evening, Zoey," chirped the smallest nightingale, his feathers a glossy black. Zoey's eyes widened in delight. "You can talk," she exclaimed. "On the night of the whispering moon, we can all talk," said the nightingale, puffing his chest proudly. "Each of us has a story to share." And so, Zoey listened. She listened to tales of distant lands, of soaring above the clouds, and the secret lives of stars. The nightingales told her of the winds that carried them from place to place, of the rains that baptized them, and the sun that greeted them each morning. As the night deepened, Zoey made her way through the zoo, from one enchanting story to the next. She spoke to the wise old tortoise who recounted fables of ancient times when the world was young. She giggled with the monkeys who shared jests and riddles, their laughter hanging in the air like sparkling jewels. At the heart of the zoo, by the radiant pond, where the water shimmered with the reflection of the moon, Zoey found a bench and sat down. Her little lantern rested beside her, its light dimming to a soft glow, almost as if it knew that the stories here needed no artificial light. That's when she heard a soft rustling and turned to see the majestic figure of the zoo's oldest resident, a grand lion with a mane that shone like spun gold in the moonlight. Zoey's breath caught in her throat as he approached, his steps regal and full of a silent strength. "Do not be afraid," the lion rumbled softly, his voice like rolling thunder wrapped in velvet. Zoey nodded, finding her voice. "What story do you have, Mr. Lion?" The lion lay down beside her, his presence a comforting warmth. "I will tell you the story of the stars," he began, his deep voice a gentle whisper. For within them lies the history of all things wild and free. As the lion spoke, the sky above seemed to open, revealing the constellations in all their glory. Zoey watched, her eyes reflecting the heavens, as starry figures danced and tales of the universe unfolded. The stories continued, each creature sharing their piece of the world's tapestry, until the first blush of dawn touched the sky, turning it from black velvet to soft blue silk. And as the whispering moon bid its farewell, casting one last glance upon the earth, Zoey felt the magic of the zoo settle in her heart, a treasure trove of tales to keep her warm until the next whispering moon. As the sun peeked over the horizon, the animals of Zoey's nighttime zoo returned to their silent ways, but the memories of their voices lingered in the air, a promise that the magic was real and would return. Zoey, her eyes heavy with sleep and her heart full of adventures, walked back to her home where her bed awaited. She knew that her dreams that morning would be vivid and wild, filled with nightingales, wise tortoises, laughing monkeys, and a lion who knew the stories of the stars. "Good night, my friends," Zoey murmurs, drifting into slumber where the zoo of her dreams awaits to greet her once more. And in those dreams, the zoo came alive once more, a secret place where the heart of nature spoke and the whispers of the moon were heard by a little girl who believed in the magic of the night. So, dear little ones, nestled snug in your beds, let the tale of Zoey's nighttime zoo carry you to a world of peaceful creatures and starlit adventures. Dream of the lion's gentle purrs, the elephant's tender trumpets, and the giraffe's leafy lullabies. Good night, sleep tight, and may your dreams be as sweet and as magical as Zoey's nighttime wanderings. Good night, sweet dreams.